Welcome to the Warlord Strategist. Commander, in our previous campaign, we took a broad look at the 5 elements of the battlefield, the pillars of every war: terrain, forces, time, morale, and command. But the true strategist goes beyond the surface. Today, we begin our journey into the heart of each element, starting with terrain, the silent general of every victory and defeat. We'll break down every battlefield feature: forests, hills, rivers, choke points, and open plains. And in this lesson, we focus on the first rule of terrain, the forest, where shadows, silence, and surprise are the weapons of the patient and cunning. If you're ready to master every inch of the battlefield, hit subscribe, like, and march with me as we enter the wilds together. Listen, Commander, when you gaze upon a battlefield, never see it as mere land. It is not a blank page. It is a crucible where warriors are forged, empires tested, and destinies rewritten. Remember, it is the ground beneath your feet that decides whose name echoes through history. Let's define our battlefield. Terrain is the sum of every physical feature that shapes your fate: hills that offer vision, forests that cloak or ensnare, rivers that divide, plains that call for cavalry, choke points that funnel armies, even the twisted skeletons of ruined cities. Each piece of ground changes how you move, how you see, and how you fight. The land is the silent general of every war. Why is terrain the kingmaker? Because it decides your strategy. If you choose the battlefield, you choose the terms of battle: attack or defend, stand or withdraw. The right terrain multiplies your strengths and hides your weaknesses. A mighty cavalry charge is unstoppable on open fields, but lost in the woods, a handful of archers can command a choke point that 1,000 men cannot cross. In war, seeing first is often striking first. Invisibility and surprise belong to those who master the ground, dominate the land, and you dominate the outcome. So, Commander, learn this. On the wide, empty fields of history, every mistake is visible, and every triumph shines bright. Master movement, protect your flanks, and seize every chance to encircle or escape. The open plain rewards only those who act first and think fastest, because every terrain is a weapon. Commander, if you know how to wield it, learn the ground, master its secrets, and the battlefield will obey your will. So steel your mind and open your war map, because today we master the element that has shattered empires and crowned kings. Let's begin. Today, we march beneath the shadows into the heart of the forest. This is not just scenery. This is the true test of any army's nerve, patience, and skill. A forest, in the language of war, is a dense, tangled fortress grown by nature itself. Here, sunlight is swallowed by thick canopy, lines of sight vanish, formations fall apart, and every step is watched by 100 unseen eyes. Movement is slow, paths are narrow, and danger lurks in every shadow. When are forests suitable for battle? Commander, a forest favors the clever and the patient. It's the perfect arena if your army is light, mobile, and skilled at hit and run tactics. Forests are ideal for launching ambushes, harassing larger or slower enemies, and waging a war of attrition. When you want to neutralize enemy cavalry or prevent the foe from bringing their full strength to bear fight in the woods. When are forests not suitable for battle? But beware, forests are the enemy of the bold and the brash. If your force relies on heavy infantry, cavalry charges, or tight formations, avoid the woods at all costs. The tangled ground will rob your cavalry of speed and momentum. Heavy troops become clumsy, forced to break rank, and slow to a crawl. If your army lacks discipline or knowledge of the terrain, a forest can become a death trap, not a shield. How to fight in forests. To conquer the forest, use those who know its secrets. Deploy light infantry, archers, and scouts troops who move quietly and strike swiftly. Lay ambushes and traps hidden pits, falling logs, spiked branches. Use noise and confusion as weapons. Let every sound keep your enemy on edge. Hide your reserves in thick cover. Wait for the perfect moment to unleash them, striking from the flank or rear, when the enemy least expects it. Control the tempo. Control the ground. Make the trees your allies. What to avoid in forest warfare. Never stretch your lines too thin, or allow your units to become separated. Do not let your army get lost or strung out along narrow trails. Avoid predictable routes, and never pursue the enemy blindly into the unknown. And above all, never underestimate the power of patience and local knowledge in the woods. Now witness the lesson of Teutoburg Forest, a masterclass in how terrain can destroy even the mightiest army. In Ninad, 3 legions of Rome, roughly 18,000 disciplined soldiers, marched deep into Germanic lands. Their commander trusted his local guide, Arminius. But Arminius was no friend. He was the architect of their doom. He led the Romans into a tangled labyrinth of forests, where the columns stretched thin along narrow, muddy trails. Hidden in the trees, Germanic warriors watched and waited. More than 20,000 strong, the attack was sudden, savage, and perfectly timed. Arrows and spears rained down from above and behind. The Romans, trapped by trees and mud, could not form their legendary formations. The forest stole their vision, choked their movement, and shattered their discipline. For days, the ambushes continued waves of attacks, each more devastating than the last. When the slaughter ended, all 3 Roman legions were annihilated, one of the greatest disasters in Roman military history. The land, the shadows, and the patience of the Germanic tribes, these were the true victors. So, Commander, remember this. The forest rewards cunning, discipline, and patience. Master its secrets, and you will turn the shadows into your shield. Fail, and the woods will close over your ambitions forever. You've now seen how terrain and the 5 elements of war shape every campaign, and how the forest can swallow even the mightiest armies. If you learned something new, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for your next tactical briefing. In the next episode, we climb higher, discovering why the high ground has crowned kings and ended empires. Sharpen your mind, Commander. Our march to the hills begins soon. Onward to victory.